Hi, it's Dana again. I'm here with Jeany Park of Compass Rose Video. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I tend to get things mixed up. And I've been working with Jeany for a while, and she is a video visibility coach. And I've wanted to interview her, and I'm kind of looking at other ideas of what we can do with video, and so we decided to do this together.
And this is Dana Corey, who is the high performance business strategist. And I have been wanting to interview Dana forever, because every time I would help her with her messaging for her videos, I would learn so much. So this is really fun. We're going to interview each other.
Yeah.
Never done anything like this before.
It's going to be really fun.
So do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
So when I first met you, you were doing something totally different. And about 2 weeks later, you did a pivot in about 10 seconds and started your video company. And ever since then, you've just gotten, things have been going really, really great. And so from where you're standing now to, let's say, a year or 5 years out, when what for you is the biggest obstacle that you see between you and getting to where you want to go?
The biggest obstacle is that there is such a big hole in the market when it comes to video, and so many people are hungry to know how to do it and what they should be doing, that it's really easy to try to serve everybody with everything. And of course, that does not work. Okay. So it's about being super clear on our niche, on our ideal client, our messaging, and what we want to do specifically, because it's not all about making everybody happy. Then you make nobody happy. So that is the biggest challenge, is staying very focused and true to ourselves and our goal and our company, and not veering from it.
Awesome. So I have another question that kind of goes with that. Can I just ask you?
Of course.
Okay, so I know that one of the things about, because we've talked about this a lot, is that you haven't used a coach yet at all. And you've been growing and trying different things. And I always want to know, what do you do when you get stuck?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it is my goal. It's not that I'm against coaching. It's just been about okay, well, let's see what's going to stick first. Mm-hmm. Throw the spaghetti on the wall, see which direction we want to go in. But what I do when I get stuck is I'm just a really good student. So I watch what you do, there's certain people I follow, and then I'll try things and see what works and what doesn't. And I'm constantly learning and recalibrating and open to failure. If there's anything I've learned from being an actor for 15 years, it's how to fail and fail publicly. It's much better to be wrong and strong than kind of play it safe, be boring, and then you're not going to get anywhere. It's much better to really be bold and make your mistakes big, and then recalibrate, and then keep going. So, and honestly, I just try to learn from really good people like you. And we are the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So if you're spending time with people who are fear-based, thinking small, they're really not where you want to be, then you're going to stay there. So you have to be very clear about who you're hanging out with, who you're learning from, and set your sights high.
I love that. So many people are afraid to fail, right? Failure
Mm-hmm.
is something that they want to stay as far away from as possible. And well, I don't believe that you should go out and seek failing. You can't get to success without failure. Failure is
Totally.
just part of it, right? You're
Totally.
going to fail. I promise you, you're going to fail. Is that good? Because now that you know, you won't be so afraid to fail. But failure it's actually one of the ways to get to where you're going, because it teaches you what works, what doesn't work, how you make mistakes, and all like that. So
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. Once I learned how to fail well, meaning that it's okay to fail, and meaning in a lot of different ways, and got comfortable with it, that's when I started to succeed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so when I met you, you were doing the relationship coaching, and now you're this high-performance business strategist. I think of you as a high-level coach to the coaches, and I know you work with other people too. So can you talk a little bit about what prompted the switch?
Yeah, totally. So when I first started my business, I had been coaching in my other work for a really long time. But when I decided to start my business doing it, I really had to make a choice between being a relationship coach or being a business coach, because those are both two things that I really, really understand. And I'm going to be really honest, I decided to go with being a relationship coach because I thought there would be less competition out there. And so, I mean, that is just the truth. And so then I started doing it and noticed, well, first of all, there's a lot of relationship coaches out there. Duh, who knew? But more importantly, my clients were all business women. And what we found was that, yeah, we were talking about relationships, but then when it would get really juicy was when we were talking about business, because here, let's be honest, business is sexy, right? I personally think business is really like way sexier. I'd much rather talk about business than I talk about relationships. And so I kind of moved my business from relationship coaching to business coaching. And then in the whole idea of business coaching, as my clients grew, like their businesses grew, I found that we were talking strategy, we were talking big picture, and now I don't work with beginner business people anymore. I really work with people who have seen some success, and they're looking for strategies to get to the next place, really going from having created just a job for themselves to having a real business. So that's kind of like the journey.
I love it. Okay, here's a difficult question, but I would love for you just to take a stab at it. And this is just about today. Okay, if you had to pick one secret to your success, what would it be?
That's such a hard question.
I know.
So I hate to, like, I'm going to say something so obvious that people are going to think that it's all about self-promoting, but it really isn't. I mean, this is really the truth. I think that the thing that has helped me the most from day one, because you have to know that I went into this business having absolutely no idea how to make money being a coach. Like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know I didn't know anything. And so I hired somebody to help me. And I have had a coach, a variety of different coaches, but I have had a coach since the very beginning. And for me, having somebody who doesn't have an agenda, doesn't care, isn't attached to how it turns out, so that and I've worked both with men and women coaches, but they have a completely objective view on what needs to get done and how to do it and how to get through being stuck. That it gives me like a second pair of eyes and a second brain. And so I would say that the most important thing for me has been having a coach, which is why I'm always so curious that you don't, because I'm like, how do you do that? I don't know how to do that, right? So I think it's so cool that you don't actually, because it just goes to prove that we are all different and what we need can be really different.
Exactly. Okay, so one more question for you. I have loved, obviously, working with you, and that you understand the power of video and visibility. So I wonder if you could explain why it's important to you, what it's done for you, and why you think it might be important for other people.
Okay, well, the first thing you should know is that I hated cameras for a really long time. There's probably 15 years of my life that nobody was allowed to take a picture of me. I just hated being on camera. And I have really loved working with you. Because in this day and age, it's about, my husband asked me the same question this morning. Why are you doing these videos? Why is that important? I'm like, well, it's a much bigger world. And the truth is that my business and who I am is, even though I'm not a relationship coach anymore, who I am is about relationship. Like, that is one of my top values in life, is about being in a relationship. And my clients come to me, everybody who works with me has met me personally. That's the truth. At least once. Some we've known each other for many, 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 many years. But there's only so much of me. There's only so much time that I can spend out there talking to people. And so what video allows for is for you to see me in your living room as if I was actually there when I can't be. And, I'll be honest, video allows me to reach people that I will never meet in person. Video allows me to give, I can't help everybody. Like, there's no way, I don't have enough time in my life, and my business is really just about working with 10 people at a time. So I don't have enough of me to help everybody, but I know that some of what I say really can have an impact on so many people, and this is a way for me to do that without taking, 100 clients. It's a way for me to give, and it's a way for me to be seen. Does that make sense?
Totally. And we were talking a little bit before on set that, we're all like taking notes as you're talking because you have such great nuggets from years in business that you've accumulated. And I'm just so happy to be able to provide like the right container for you, not only to have that knowledge, but to disseminate it on a large scale so a lot of people can benefit from it, get to know you, and be inspired.
That's so cool. I'm really excited. I am totally a solopreneur. I don't have employees at all, but I have a team. I have a team that I really love. And when I go to look for somebody to work with, I'm really clear that I don't want a short-term relationship. I want a relationship that's going to span years, that we can grow together and we can create something that's bigger than any one of us. And I have loved working with you. Like, we're doing stuff that we've never done before. And we're like, I remember when we came up with this idea, we were like, well, should we do it? I don't know. Should we do it?
I want to do it.
Okay, let's try it. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. And here we are. And a year from now, who knows what we're going to be doing. But exactly. I do know that, like, you are a member of my team, like my posse. And we're going to, whatever it is that we're going to do, we're going to make it work together. And I love that.
Mwah. And you're my ideal client who, when they say you have to become the coach that your client demands you to be, and you're that person for me where you'll say, I would love to see you do this.
Yes.
And I want to do this. So
I want to do this. So you got to do this.
So I want to do it. So, and I'm like, I'm right there. And you're there with me. And honestly, we learn from each other.
Yeah.
And from this wonderful team we've assembled, and we help each other. And that's how it's done. You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You really can't. I love you.
I love you too. It's awesome. See you next time.
Bye.